In this episode of Going For It with Becker, I sit down with Sonny Alexander and Michael Beum, a business partnership out of Tampa Bay, Florida, which is built on a foundation of shared values, shared service, and a whole lot of discipline. Both Sonny and Michael are West Point graduates, and that shared background is the bedrock of everything they do. Sonny has been in the industry for nearly 20 years and built her business the right way through relationships, discipline, and an unwavering commitment to protecting and educating her clients. Michael came into the picture as a client, then a skills bridge partner, and somewhere along the line, Sonny decided she wasn't going to let him leave the business. Together, they have built a thriving partnership that is growing in one of the toughest markets in years. We talk about what makes their partnership work, why defined roles and shared values are non-negotiable, and how their military background shapes the way they show up for clients every single day. Let's get into it. This is a good one. Sonny and Michael, welcome to another episode of Going For It with Becker. Of course, I'm James Becker, and thank you so much for coming on to talk about all things residential real estate.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
My pleasure. So you guys are business partners, not personal partners. Tell me, let's start a little bit diving into that. How did you guys get connected? And share with me a little bit about how your partnership works.
Well, Mike and I have conflicting stories on the first time that we connected. So I was, goodness gracious, how many years ago was it, Mike?
It's 2019, so seven years ago.
7 years ago, I got a random call from, I thought it was his wife, but Mike swears it's him. On a very rainy day, they were stationed out at West Point, and they had identified a condo that they wanted to purchase, and they got my name through the West Point Society. We both graduated from West Point, and West Point can be a mafia of sorts as far as connecting and working with West Pointers. And my name popped up in Tampa. They wanted to buy a condo, and we got through that transaction. They decided they wanted to buy another condo. They bought another condo. At the end of the day, I ended up selling them 4 pieces of property, and we were still friends at that point. And and then Mike got out of the Army, and they wanted to move down here in Tampa, and he did what's called a skills bridge program. And that's a program where the military links outcoming veterans with corporations or businesses in the community, and they work alongside of them.
Yep.
At this point in time, my husband and I were opening a property management company. And because of Mike's very rich experience with the short-term rental, we were like, hey, come do the skills bridge with us. And Mike, and, my husband and myself, we got our property management up and running. The skills bridge ended. We told Mike he couldn't leave, and here we are today. So we basically kidnapped him out of the Army, and we won't let him go.
That's awesome. Well, for those people who don't know about West Point, I'm sure everybody has heard about it, but it is the Army's top college. It is something where only the brightest, the most dedicated individuals go. It's incredibly difficult to get into. There is a certain amount of proper hazing that happens for freshmen. They have to walk the halls along the wall with their head down, I believe, for the entire year. Is that correct?
Yeah, you got to walk the walls and keep your hands cupped and your and your head down and just acknowledge upperclassmen as they walk by with the proper greeting. So
Yeah. So it's really a special place for really special people. And so, this will sound trite, but thank you for your service. But seriously, I'm honored to have a conversation with both of you. And it's very impressive that you guys went there and graduated from there and served as you have. So let's talk a little bit about the partnership. So, Sonny, you were the mentor, and Michael was the mentee initially. How does it function now? Are you guys just covering each other, or do you have separate responsibilities? Because you guys are doing, between the two of you, you're well over $500,000 in GCI. And so how does this function?
I'll let Mike go ahead. I don't want to hog all the airtime, and I'm a talker, so.
So what I kind of like to say is Sonny works on the business and I work in the business. So we do a lot of cultivating a lot of our sphere and stuff like that together. Sonny, just by nature of how long she's been in the industry, has a lot more connections and a lot more, sphere of influence that she can pull from. And I just nug and I get things done. So I handle a lot of the day-to-day stuff and I do a lot of the admin things. Um, we love to show together because we're like a comedy duo. When you get us out there at a house, she'll look for certain
Yeah.
things. I'm looking at certain things, and our buyers either love it or hate it. I can't tell which one it is at this point, but they do love just kind of the different dynamics that we bring. I have a little bit more of a construction savvy background. Sonny, having lived in Tampa longer and knowing a little bit more about the market, has a very acute just picture of what the market looks like, and she picks up on a lot of the little nuances within each of the little different neighborhoods and pockets around the Tampa Bay area. So that's kind of the wave top version.
It
Okay.
going back to our military days, and I'm sure this is in the civilian sector too, is we have very specific defined duties and responsibilities.
Yeah.
So my husband, Jordan, he's always in the back, he's the big brain, and Mike and I are we're doers, right?
Yeah.
So with the help of Jordan, we really have dialed in our duties and responsibilities, and we stay in our lane. And if we have to get out of our lane to cover one another, we do that. But I think that to me, the two main things of a partnership, it needs to start with the foundation of having the same values.
Yep.
Got that. And then secondly, defined duties and responsibilities and expectations.
Yeah.
I think if that you have those two things, that foundation, you can really thrive in a partnership.
Yeah. I think for sure, when you have two different partners or three, if we bring Jordan into it, that
The silent one.
yeah, the realities is that if you split the work and the responsibilities into different areas where people are responsible for certain things getting done, I believe that creates a lot more efficiency in the business. It creates less friction, and you can get more done. And I think most partnerships are kind of willy-nilly and will decide who's going to do what at the beginning of the day, or maybe not at all. And I don't think those partnerships last very long. I think most partnerships, in fact, don't really last at all. I think it's a rare occasion when partnerships come together, and I'm sure that it has a lot to do again with the culture and your background being similar, and then the discipline that both of you bring to the business, which I think is also tough for people that are in our industry. What happens when there is a disagreement? Is there someone who is ultimately in charge, or do you guys fight it out until you come to a conclusion?
We normally arm wrestle.
Okay.
and that kind of solves
And
things.
so you win that every time, I am sure.
Yeah, obviously.
Yes.
I mean, Mike may disagree, but we haven't come to anything like that where we've had a disagreement.
Yep.
There have been times where we haven't agreed on something, and it really just depends on what the situation is. And I think we're self-aware to take a step back and look at, like, really, does this really matter if Mike gets his way and I don't? It hasn't come to that. I will say, if it ever did, and it will, um, we will sit down and talk about it. And we'll probably bring Jordan in, because what you also need in a partnership is communication.
Yep.
If death of a thousand cuts. If I make a
100%. Yes.
yeah, if I make a decision and Mike doesn't agree with it, I mean, he needs to tell me, and vice versa. It's all about, we're not scared of those hard conversations.
Yep.
And that's really, I think, has avoided any really, button heads on a certain decision, unless I'm way off base and Mike is like, I disagree with Sunny all the time. But it's communication, man. You just got to
Yep.
talk it out.
Yeah, and I think we have. I can't think of anything off the top of my head of where we've disagreed on something business related. And I think we have a very good unified front that way. We will tell our buyers and our sellers all the time, we don't disagree on everything when it comes to the real estate market or what is a good investment or what, you name it in the process of a real estate transaction. But I think that's something that's unique about us that we bring to the table that a solo agent isn't going to give you. You're getting two full-time agents' perspective on something, and it might not be, it might not align every time.
Yep.
We are
I
able
think
to
that's
provide.
really unique. I think that's special for sure.
Yeah, it's just different perspectives for, a buyer or an investor to take into consideration when they're,
Yep.
jumping into what is going to be one of the largest financial decisions of their life.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's really important because I think real estate agents think that they have to sell people, a lot of agents, and the best ones understand that they're really just there to help clients make good decisions. And decisions have positive consequences and negative consequences. Both come with whatever decision is being made, to go left or to go right, or to buy or not to buy, or to dive in or to wait. All of them have their different decisions. And the buyer and the seller, they are the ones that have to be responsible for the decisions that they make. And I think having, a little bit of a committee, if they are the CEO and they've got a couple of board of directors that's providing value, if that if, for some people they may want to be told what to do, but I imagine that most of your clients are a higher level of sophistication and probably appreciate that.
Real estate, we always say it all the time. Our job is to protect and educate the consumer. That's our job.
Yeah,
And it goes back, we're not
I
selling
love that.
houses. We're leading people to hopefully make a good decision.
Yeah,
We always give them course of action. This is what you can do. This is the risks associated with that.
yeah,
This is the good and the bad. We're leading people. We're not selling.
yeah. So both of you guys are ex-athletes or maybe weekend athletes still. Mike, you played football. Sunny, you played soccer. Did you guys both play collegiately?
I
I did not.
did.
Okay. All right. So, one of the things that the top Fortune 500 are always looking for ex-athletes to hire. I know that I do that as well. You guys were in the Army, so that was a part of the discipline. But how important is discipline to the success that you guys are having in a really down market?
Well, I'm going to toot Mike's horn. He didn't play in college, but he's a Ranger, which I
Okay.
think equivalent to or better than a collegiate athlete.
100%.
Yeah. So I think but I totally agree. I feel like athletes and Rangers, more importantly, really do bring
Yes.
more.
Yes.
They have a little discipline, right?
Yeah.
Um, and as far as the down market goes, we have built our book of business. We're not really feeling the down market. We have enough discipline. I can assure you that. We probably have a
Yeah.
little bit too much because we're a
Right.
little.
I think it boils down to doing the routine things routinely. I know that people say
Yep.
that a lot, it's cliche, but that's just kind of what it, there'll be slumps. So, we'll sell 10 houses one month, we'll sell none the next.
Yep.
But we bounce back and we don't change anything. You can't make these polarizing shifts because the timing wasn't right for somebody.
Yep.
You gotta stay the course, keep doing what you're doing, get in front of your SOI, get in front of, the right buyers, make your phone calls, and things will work out.
I believe that money is made in the boring, which is the repetitive routines that you do every day. And so many real estate agents out there, they want to be in the sexy and they want to be in the glamour. And I don't really see that paying off. And I've been doing this for a while. So it does take some discipline. So where does most of your business come from? Share with me a little bit about that.
Our sphere of influence, and that's through Fusion. I've been in the industry for almost 20 years. I hate saying that but at any rate, it's true. And we partnered with Fusion Growth partnered with you. And
Right.
I am not saying this for the first time. Partnering with Fusion was the best business decision I've ever made in my real estate career, hands down.
Wow.
And all of it is our business is built on our sphere, and Fusion takes care of that. They do, they do the nitty gritty. They do the things that need to happen. As a busy real estate agent, those things need to happen. But if I'm doing that, then I'm not doing the things that need to be done. So it is sphere. We are dabbling in Facebook advertising, and we've closed 2 already, 3
Okay.
already. We're getting 1 under escrow now.
Okay.
I think that there's something to be said by continuing to evolve your marketing and trying to see what else is out there. So, but the foundation is our sphere.
Yeah, the heartbeat or the drumbeat repetitions and getting out in front of the sphere that Fusion does routinely. Again, not a good use of the word. That's where you find out like who's in the market ready to move that you just might not have thought about. But it's just that constant touch point, getting in front of them, like, oh hey guys, I'm looking to move in the next 2 months, and it's
Yep.
just like that's a blip on the radar. Okay, let's start working towards that goal. It just takes a lot of it out of our hands to make it easier on us.
One of the things that's so important about what we're doing and what helps agents is growing that sphere. So we know that and we use a progressive type of marketing campaign where there's lots of modalities and lots of frequency with a common theme that is unique to the people that we're working with. But the larger that reach goes for true SOI, the more opportunities there are. Are you guys focusing on growing that sphere?
Yes. It's slow but deliberate. When we do grow that sphere, it's going to be someone that we actually have a relationship with. I think a good rule of thumb for our sphere is if we see them at the grocery store, we know their name, we know their kid's name, like we know them. It's like a, laissez-faire situation. I know that, and Sarah said something to us that really resonated with me she's like, your number of real sphere it doesn't coincide with your production because we don't like whoever's in our CRM, they're in it, that we know them. So to answer your question, yes, we are doing it. It is a relationship based. It's not a go to a networking event and get cards.
I think for me, the way I look at it is if you see them and acknowledge them and you know them and they're connected to you in a different way. So if they go to your church, but you don't really know them, but you meet them, and then getting the marketing, you're going to get to know them a little bit better. If they go to your gym, or I used to do a lot of business with my older brother had a really large network of friends, and I would go to their parties and their functions and did a lot of business there. And so as long as there's a connection where you're part of a tribe somewhere, I think that makes a difference. You know, you guys really have something that I think is really super special in the West Point graduates in it is such a unique selling proposition. And so I just wonder, have you guys thought about doing geographical farming? And because and geographical farming takes a while to pay off. And so you have to be willing to invest a lot of money before it pays off. But once it starts to pay off and you've got several signs in a neighborhood, it will produce like an orchard will over and over and over again. Have you guys thought about doing that as an expansion to generating business?
We did try it a couple of years ago. I think it was an 18-month campaign.
Yeah.
It wasn't effective, but to answer your question, we're always open.
Yeah, I think we didn't have clear parameters of where we wanted to go. And I think we've kind of hyper-focused. I mean, that was around the same time we're talking about the sphere. Like, we went through and axed several thousand people from our CRM and our database just to market to the few. But I think if we really dialed in, you know, Jordan's been talking about getting a billboard. I don't know if he's joking or not, but, you know, maybe that's like step one. You know, we start advertising that way right around McDill, where we do have, you know, the influx of a lot of veterans. There's still a lot of West Pointers in the area, but just that constant turnover of people doing a permanent change of station move. It could have some goodness there for sure.
Yeah. I think, you know, if I was putting on my coaching hat, I might go back to all those people you axed and relook at some of those people, because again, you know, with your guys' story and the way that you're unique, you have to have people that are going to have the opportunity to move. And if they are a part of that tribe and they recognize you, the chances of you getting inside the front door is really super high versus marketing to other people. The other issue is with Facebook. When you put something out there and it generates leads, that's awesome. But because the algorithms and things are changing all the time, what worked at one point doesn't work the next month. And then you start going in a thing where you're generating leads. And that's just something that's so different. Whereas in the sphere, your branding, you own them. And then also in the geographical farm, if you get into the right place. And so I would really recommend that. And again, if there's a way of finding alumni of West Point and then marketing to them in the greater area, I don't know how many people there are, but that could be significant because you're a part of the same tribe. Like there's a uniqueness that is there. And again, just marketing to the same people over and over and over again, it might be really a successful way about going about things. What do you guys love about the business?
It depends what day you ask. But it goes back to my favorite job outside of real estate, this is going to be weird, was a CrossFit coach.
Yeah.
And that gave me the opportunity to teach adults how to, you know, clean and jerk and snatch a barbell. If you can, I liked the teaching and watching them excel. I think real estate's the same thing. you're
Yep.
teaching them to make a good decision and you see the outcome.
Yep.
So there's a
Yep.
lot, it's a really intimate process too. When a family
Very.
buys a house they're going to live in, that's, I don't want to sound cliche, but that's really an honor to be part of that. It's
Yep.
incredible.
Yep.
For me, that fills my love tank. The day
Yep.
to day, I just like the different problem sets and, I can't sit still. So I like the operations of it as well.
Yep. That's awesome. Michael, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the diversity, like someone just said, the diversity of, every house, every buyer, every seller is a different problem set. You're
Yep.
gonna, you'll have smooth transaction, then you'll have one that, you're barely hanging and holding together.
Yep.
And each one will have something that you'll learn from, and you might not use it the next month, you might not use it for another year or two. But it's
Yep.
just something that you put in your kit bag and you pull out when you need it down the road.
Right.
So I think that's just it's a constantly learning, but you're constantly problem solving. And the good
Yep.
agents are problem solvers.
Yeah, that's for sure because there's a lot of problems, and a lot of times the other agent is the problem that you have to solve.
Yeah.
So that's just the realities. You've got um, a number of agents. I think in 24, 70% didn't sell one house.
Crazy.
70%. And people who sell one house when they first get in the business never sell another house. Like 70% of those people never sell a house. And so really the realities are it's super important for buyers out there to really make sure that one, they're finding somebody that has experience at solving problems, has the emotional temperament to solve problems in a very emotional transaction. This is why this whole AI thing is a little scary on where things are going for society in years to come. But I do think that our job, our profession of working with buyers and sellers is just not going to be easy to be put into an algorithm because one, computers don't have empathy. You have to have a lot of empathy. You need to know when to push people, and if people don't know that you care about them, they won't let you push them. But if they know that you care about them, they will let you push them like a good coach would, so to speak. And the business can be draining for real estate agents just because there is so emotional. I don't think people really understand how hard it is to be a real estate agent. Oh, you showed a house and made. It is a very emotional process. Tell me, what do you guys dislike about it more than anything else?
I just like that the bar to entry is so low on the other side. We were just talking about how the agent on the other side is the problem half the time. Sometimes I wish there were a little more strict gates you had to get through to be able to represent a buyer or seller. And it's about policing
Yeah,
our own and educating the other side. A lot of times we've had several offers or where people didn't realize the power that the VA loan has. And
yeah,
it's our job to educate them that way. But that I think is my biggest complaint.
yeah. I can understand. Sonny, how about you?
I think as a whole, our leadership, our industry lacks leadership, and it goes with what Mike said, and that can be very frustrating to deal with that within our industry. And what the thing that is sad is the consumer doesn't realize that they can interview more than one agent. There
Yeah.
are different types of agents out there, and
Yes.
they link up with an agent that is just they're not good, and
Yep.
they forever will have a bad taste in their mouth about realtors. So it's lack of leadership, and the buyers and sellers know that they can pick someone else. That's it. It's a free market out there.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I think it makes a huge difference where things end up depending upon who it is that you're associating yourself with as a client.
Mhm.
All right. Well, if you're talking to a brand new person who's thinking about getting into real estate, what advice would you give them?
I tell a lot of people don't pay for marketing up front. Do it yourself. Do it the old-fashioned way and learn what you want to make yourself. Don't let somebody else do it for you.
Okay. Sunny?
I tell new agents to interview at least 3 brokers. If I'm speaking to that new agent on the phone, I'll tell them to call me after, because a lot of times brokers are going to try to sell them, and
Yep.
it's just not the way of the world. So I try to set them up for success.
Yep. What I tell them is don't do it.
Well, I didn't want to say that.
No, I mean that. Unless they're willing to go all in plus more, don't do it. It's just it is a hard job, and you can be wildly successful. You can make a lot of money, but you really have to care about your clients, and you have to go the extra mile. You have to be able to work nights and weekends. It's not a 9 to 5 job. You have to be willing to spend money and invest time with no guarantee. If you don't have a risk tolerance, it's not going to be. It's an entrepreneurial position. It's not a job, and I think people really don't understand how hard it is to do this job consistently and be able to deal with all of the issues that come about, because you're really putting together 2 people that have conflicting interest, and then managing 10 other people that have influence on the deal, not to mention spouses or parents or kids or anything else. And when I was first in the business, I would close a deal and I would be super happy that I had a check, and then immediately depressed, because I would think, how in the hell is all of this going to come together one more time? Like, it's a miracle when a deal closes. It really is. And there's a lot of agents that are out there that do a really good job. And I would say you, Sonny, and Michael are like literally, we have 1,000 top people around the country, and you guys are right up there at the top. The level of professionalism, the amount of care that you put into your clients, you're both really just incredible people. And I'm super honored to be in business with you, and I really appreciate you guys being willing to have this conversation with me today.
Well, thanks for having us, James.
Yeah,
And we
appreciate
are
it.
super thrilled and honored to have Fusion in our life, because it's made a really big impact.
For sure.
Thank you for that.